This year,
The Caribbean
600.
is going to be about patience,
It's going to be all about fun.
All about bringing our team together.
Strategy.
figuring it out.
dodging islands.
Pushing hard till the end.
Extremely tactical.
Gonna be successful.
It's all about the Carib.
A great time on the boat.
Fighting against the friends.
Caribbean 600 will be all about fight.
So the 2020 RORC Caribbean 600 is a completely different event from what we've had over the last 2 years. 2018 and 19 were very windy. This year, the normal regular trades didn't arrive. Essentially, you might say that the race was slower by 24 hours from what we've seen in the past. We had 73 boats with nearly 700 competitors from 37 countries. So the fleet is made up of professional sailboats as well as Corinthian amateurs who love their offshore racing. And of course we had last year's winner, Wizard, owned by the Askew brothers, who are back here to defend their title.
We won the event last year. The conditions were such that it really suited the boat very well. A little bit different than what we're going to see this year. We just have to sail smart and make the right decisions and hopefully have a little luck. The fact that there aren't any 72 footers, I think that the 52 footers and the Cookson 50s are going to be incredibly hard to beat. It could be a little boat race.
We're largely from the Pacific Northwest, which is a light wind venue, so the light wind is maybe less alarming to us than some of the other sailors. We're like, wow, 10 knots, that's honking. Our eye is on Escapado, because they're good friends from back home. It's nice to have some truly friendly competition instead of just against strangers.
And now it's my first season in Caribbean, and of course I heard about the RORC 600, Caribbean 600 as the hardest offshore sailing race in Caribbean. We are going to give the maximum, no sleeping, and making a lot of maneuvers, changing the sail. So it's going to be busy and intensive race.
Have only a couple of us on board have done the Caribbean 600. I haven't done it before, first time with this boat and first time navigating, so it's going to be a pretty exciting adventure.
Racing in Class 0, it's quite special because you are racing against such a huge diversity of boats, going from the 465s, the 70s, you got the counting keel boats, so you have really an incredible variety.
Step by step we are learning, and I'm really happy that there's a great bunch of people here, outsiders on the boat from the Baltic, some help from Australia and America and the British, so we are looking forward for this race.
Maarten was built in 1979 for the Whitbread race. Tracy Edwards bought it prior to the 1989 Whitbread race, and she put together the first female team to race around the world. Then after that the boat was sold on. They kind of lost contact with what the boat was doing, and she received a phone call in 2014 saying that they had her boat in the Seychelles, that it was abandoned, had been ransacked by pirates, and that they were probably going to have to scuttle the vessel. And she said, well, I don't own a boat, and they said it's Maarten. So very promptly she jumped on an aeroplane, went and checked it out, realised pretty soon that it was not going to get anywhere on its own steam, and got a crowdfunding together, and the Princess of Jordan also helped with the funding because her father was the original sponsor of the boat. And they took it to the UK and did a 2-year refit, and now it's sailing around the world with an all-female team, raising funds and awareness for equal access to education. The boat hasn't raced as Maarten since the 1989 Whitbread. So everything's really ready. We've got the sails that the boat sailed around the world with, so nothing's that crisp anymore. But we've got a really cool crew. Whatever happens, it's just a privilege to have her out there racing again.
In the multi-hull class, we have an array of talent spread all the way through the fleet. people like Frank Camas, Lloyd Perron, Giovanni Soldini, Brian Thompson, and of course the fastest man in the world, Paul Larson, all sailing on different boats throughout the fleet.
I think it's going to be the most competitive big multi-hull fleet we've had for a long time.
There are 5 boats with 370, Maserati, Powerplay, Argo, and also Shockwave and Ultime.
Argo and us are quite identical, more or less, really. Giovanni is working a lot on full foil system, which are very efficient when they are working, which are a bit draggy when they are not, like any kind of foil system.
So we know that in certain conditions we suffer, and then in other conditions we have obviously a better speed. Last year's was a perfect condition, and this time doesn't look so good. That's the play.
So you have to anticipate, you have to respect for sure, but you have to know very well your opponents and to know and to understand why they are faster and why they are going that way. And then it's not only a story of following someone, it's a story of doing something different sometimes. Like every races, it's never finished till the finishing line, never. You can be alone at sea and you see no one, nobody around, and suddenly there is one which is coming back.
The RORC Caribbean 600 race course is also very different to any other. We go around 11 islands, we go as far north as St. Maarten, as far south as Guadeloupe, and of course it starts and finishes in Antigua.
There is many legs, and with a lot of change of sail configuration, and it's better than a long leg with nothing to do. So I'm happy to do this race. It's first time for me.
At the end of the day, I think the team that sails the best and pushes the boat the hardest is probably going to come out on top.
I just think the course is great. It's a great length race. I like the fact that it starts and finishes in Antigua. It's just great to be down here. Really love it.
One thing's for sure, Caribbean 600 is really a race you're getting addicted to. You gotta push a boat all the time, and we are ready.
I think there was like 4 or 5 full park ups, and we'd all just restart the race. So finishing the race in the squall, was surprised the race committee could even see us from up on the hill. It was pretty rainy.
Yesterday evening we arrived at Guadeloupe as the sun was starting to go down. We were very excited because we benefited from the fact to close about a 3-mile gap between us and Powerplay. So that was great for us. Obviously Maserati came into the mix as well, and in fact Maserati pulled ahead for a little bit in the back of Guadeloupe.
Our speed was just a little less than their speed. That's why we try to do a different course after the South Guadeloupe, We go around the island in the other side, and we was hoping the easterly wind come maybe before. It was a good try, but that doesn't work at all.
It's not an easy situation to lead a race like that, not at all, because you always know that on each island you're going to be in a tricky position. We were leading, not far to lead all of them, and each time, by far sometimes, in Sabah we were leading by 30 miles, I reckon, something like that, which is a lot. And they came back and they passed us 50 meters away.
Leave them for 1 minute. Just a great match race all the way around the course. You know, so close to our two competitors almost the entire time, always within sight.
I don't know what it came down to for the two. Obviously, we're probably a little bit lighter. Argo have got their new foil systems, but whether that made a difference, I don't actually know. It's just strategy, and we got a good shift at the end and just managed to put away. But it was touch and go the whole way around.
And I think they do a wonderful race, especially Loic and power play.
You know, finishing within 4 minutes of power play after 600 miles is 45 hours of sailing that's pretty close racing. Second year in a row coming in second for line honors behind another Mod 70. You know, Argo will be back next year looking for another bite at the apple.
Thinking about the start of the 600 this year, it wasn't quite last year, it was light. People didn't give everybody as much room as they did before, and we definitely had an error. We put in our penalty turns. Sorry about that, Bora.
Once we get up, we'll see it, but I think it's one of these boats right here, yeah.
But yeah, ocean racing, 600 miles in the Caribbean. Man, just look around here, it's spectacular. Even with light conditions, we've been hauling 20 knots here, popping the main hull. We're due west of Nevis right now. In the previous legs, got a little frustrating up around Barbuda, where there was literally nothing. We broke out the incense, see if we could figure out where the wind was coming from. We made a good leg down to the next turn, where we thought actually we could come in close, but again, because of the change in the wind angle from normal conditions, it was another dead spot for us. So we threw in another 360.
Soon it'll be our turn. There's wind right there.
You go from those frustrating trials and tribulations to wonderful, beautiful skies and conditions. Pretty flat here right now in this race. Ziggy here is hauling along at a nice 20 plus knots. We're hoping to get down to Guadeloupe by dark, and then work our way north again up around the final triangle into the finish. Another thing that's wonderful about the trimaran community and most offshore sailors, the other boats will pitch in. So with some help from Brian and Artie, guys from Argo, we got the wands working. Well, that's all been wonderful till about now. They gave up the ghost again, and looks like this evening we'll be without instruments, but we can feel the wind on our hair, and we'll make our way around and get to the finish.
This was our first long offshore race as a team, and we just arrived back, and it looks like we're going to pick up second. Everything went as I would have liked. I mean, the team was fantastic, and you know, a lot of people ask you, how'd the boat go, and boats really are a reflection of the team. You know, before the race, every piece of carbon had been NDI'd, inspected, everything had been checked, and I think it's the fact that the boat did so well is just a reflection on how well the team did prior to the race in preparation.
Yeah, it was a good race. A little frustrating in the very beginning. Made it up to the Barbuda mark, and then had a nice reach down to Guadeloupe. After that point, we had breezed the whole way. Nice coming back north again, and of course going around the island and an upwind finish.
We were tack for tack with Shockwave. They got stuck a little bit further out towards the bottom of Guadeloupe, and we were hugging the shore there and past them there.
You know, Wizard are in a different category to us, but I'm about to head down there and take those boys some beers, because We were almost in a match race for half a day with them, and it was fantastic, and every point of sail that was advantageous to us, we'd turn the corner and they'd take a bit back until we got to the bottom of the course, and Shockwave came alive, and then we're sitting on the high side of 30 knots, and Wizard went backwards. However, I was really surprised as we're crossing the line. I looked over my shoulder again and there was their light, so they just haunted us for the best part of 36 hours.
Anytime you can do a yacht race just in a pair of shorts and wet weather top, you're in the right place.
We feel we made it to the finish line, which we didn't the last 2 long races, so we are very happy. Finish is important, but you know, if we win the Mokra, it would be all the much sweeter.
Very satisfied. We put a lot of work into a boat like this. They're big projects and it takes a lot of commitment from the owners, and it's 3 races. It's 2 transatlantics and the Middle Sea race, which we haven't finished for various reasons. Although it was quite a benign year, you still had it up to Desirade was lumpy and it was rough, and you're punching this thing around, and we're driving it around up to 25 knots and flying holes on it, and the sails are going up and down and in and out, and the locks are working and everything's spinning and working, and it's a real symphony, you know.
And we had a great race. I mean, it's me, Bo, taking care about all the guys, and it was a real pleasure to sail with them and to have a great time here together.
Eddie, we made it! We just keep on trying. It's all your fault.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very
You told
good.
this race to me. Oh, well, it's just amazing. I mean, we had a great race. The crew was working fantastic. 60 hours fighting every inch and every second, and loving the boat and taking care of it. And I mean, the country, the scenic of the volcanoes, of the Caribbean islands, the sunshine, the water, it's just fantastic.
The best part for sure is finish a race. If you do an offshore race, it's not just a race for 600 miles and not just having a good start. It's the preparation, it's bringing the boat here, it's to do all that what is in front of a race. So it takes half a year, and when you cross the finish line and you're back on the dock and you're having your beer, then you know, okay, that half a year is over, and now what's the next project? So
that is being with the outsider crew together, celebrating a great race, and being together with the crew for 38 years. Not all of them, but a lot of them. That's the best birthday ever.
Tension and a lot of consultation, and everybody was on his job, and we did the round of Redonda very well. We didn't stop really, and we keep the spinnaker as long as it was possible, and all of a sudden down and then upwind, and we didn't lose any second, I believe. You know, just doing a perfect job. I'm very happy of this teamwork. You know.
Stunning scenery on the way round, and a good variety of conditions and a good variety of marked roundings and boats to race against, and there's always boats the whole way round, which is very nice. So a lot of fun.
On day 5, the morning of the prize giving, Kingship arrived, and of course she had some serious old timers on board. 89-year-old Don Street and 92-year-old Tom Seldorf.
Been racing for 66 years on ocean racers and big cruising boats sailing round the buoys. And in 66 years, I have never sailed with a more wonderful crew. And at the age of 89, I'm going out on a high.
Don and I have been friends for 70 years, more than 70 years.
We've known each other since 1946, when my sister found him looking like a drowned rat in Manhasset Bay Yacht Club, and we've been friends ever since.
Tom,
So glad to have Don
how
aboard.
was your first RORC Caribbean 600?
I'm sorry?
How did you find the race?
Over on the web.
Because everything's unpredictable, and it's man against the climate, the water, the conditions, and you never know what to expect. So we're always high energy, and snap, everything can change. So we're always on top of the game, and these guys work like a machine, and girls. Just wonderful.
Last night, downwind at 8 to 10 knots. I think we topped out at 11 actually.
11.
11. So that was pretty sweet.
The work rate was ridiculous, and I think I slept maybe 5 hours the whole race in total. And over 4 days, that's not very much. But yeah, the guys really dug into. I'd say I pushed them hard, and I think it sums up this race. It is a sprint the whole way around. So yeah, tough but really rewarding.
This year's RORC Caribbean 600 served up some very different conditions, and it showed in the way that people race their boats, the persistence and patience required and the speed to keep the boat going in these light conditions. And nowhere was that better shown than the final boat that finished, Cable Vane, which came from Holland. They finished third overall in IRC3, and the smiles on their faces when they finished on Day 6, the day after the prize giving, tells everything there is to know about this year's RORC Caribbean 600.
You only have a few hours left for Jan to catch his plane. So we were counting like, oh, we have to do 6.3 knots minimum an hour, and then the wind kicked in. It's like, we're going for it. We're going for it. This is a complete surprise, and we're over the world, I guess. Yeah.